So these are my standard coasters that I make. They are amazing and cute and versatile, and you can make them in any sizes. You just have to keep the measurements exactly the same, and they work out, and I'm trying to demonstrate here, to where if you have a glass base, you can fit it inside, and the coaster just kind of stays attached to it even when you lift up your glass. And so really, really neat. I'm showing the center back for you right there. But yeah, these are really, really neat. They are my go-to for coasters because they have so many uses and they are washable. So all you need is this size is 5-inch squares. This material is kind of like a denim, but not really. It's a little thinner, but you can see how a little sturdy it is, but it's still pliable to where I can turn it inside out really easy and poke out the corners. And I've got 4 squares. You're going to need 4 pieces to make this pattern, of course, for each corner. And I am going to try to show you the measurement, but they are almost just under 5-inch squares. So you can barely see the 5 there. So yeah, these are neat. I have made tons of them. They are so neat, and we're just going to fold them in half like that and iron them down. So that's the right side. You're going to fold them down to where the right side is showing. I'm going to heat up my iron. But these are so neat and so easy to make. And this is real time except for the cutting. This is real time actually making it. But you just fold it in half to where the right side, and you can see the wrong side here is touching. So make sure they're right side out and just give them a good press. I like to use my little ham there. I've got a wooden one coming in. I'm waiting for things to get shipped into me to help out, but we're just going to go through all these squares, and like I said, wrong side touching, and just lay them down, smooth out that raw edge, and just press them really good. I've got my steam on, which I usually do. Iron everything with a steam and on the highest setting. But I like to press that crease. It just makes night and day difference how firm and neat that crease is. But yeah, I've never shared this, and I don't know where the pattern I got, but it was just years ago, and once I saw this pattern, I was like, oh, as a game changer. No holes, no turning inside out, and having to see stitch lines on the outside from having to sew it shut. None of that. This is a really, really neat pattern. But you want to get a good crease. But you see, that's a really, really good flat crease, and that's what you want. It's going to lay better that way. But here we go. Here's the last one. Match up the raw edges, right side out. Really simple pattern. Very simple. But they are pretty fast to make. And we are all done. And that's the last one. Now we're going to go over to the sewing machine and we are going to get these started. So first I'm going to show you the supplies that I use. But of course you're going to need a cutting board and a rotary cutter. I use my little snips to do the little threads. I am using my crimpers. It's like night and day difference. To me, makes them look nice and neat. And then I'm still using just a pencil to turn inside out. I do have some turners coming in. They just haven't arrived yet. And right now I'm pointing at my seam guide. I know you can't see it very well. But the seam guide is a game changer. And I actually never thought of ever ordering one. Like, why do you need it? But it's just a game changer. And I found it on Temu less than $5. And this thing is amazing. And this magnet is, wow, it snaps to that plate. So nice. And it just snaps, as you see there. Snaps really good. I line it to the edge of my presser foot because that's my go-to stitch length. I think it's about 1/2 inch, 3/8 to 1/2 inch. So we're going to make sure that the right side is up because that's what's going to show when we turn it inside out. So you're just going to start with your squares. I am going through trying to figure out what pattern I went through with the other ones so they somewhat match. But I'm going to get started with the red, it looks like. And you're just going to line up the raw edges. As you can see, that's the raw edge right there. Going to line up the raw edge to the edge of that square, backing square. But you're just going to line it up to where the folded edge goes toward the center. Because that's the part that we want to see. So we're going to get our next color. Next color that I'm going to be using is the blue. So I first lay it down, and as you see here, yeah, I'm trying to get you closer so you can really see this. But you just lay it down, and then you're going to flip it up. And put it right underneath. So you get a little square of each color. But it's really neat how they all lay. But you're just going to keep on going. Our next color is going to be the purple. But again, raw edges to the edge. Lay it down. And you're going to lift up. And lift up. And lay down. So you're just kind of intersecting all these pieces. Last one is going to be the pink. And raw edges towards the edge of your fabric there. Make sure everything's kind of lining up. Then I'm going to lift up. And lift up the other one. And lay it down. But you just kind of group them together to make a little crossway there in that center. Make sure it's really nice and straight. Right here I had one piece kind of sticking out a little too far. And so I went through and pushed it a little closer. So it was lining up real nice and neat. And there we go. We got a nice cross line there. And you can use pins or clips, but I really don't see a need if you've got everything ironed down really good and that cross way is really lining up. But with the seam guide, it helps to keep everything straight. And as you can see where I'm pointing, I'm actually going along with the folds. I'm not going against them. So there's no issue of, getting those bumpy spots in your fabric from sewing it. So it's real nice. I did a back stitch at the beginning, and you're going to do a back stitch at the end. But you see here, I'm not having to go against that fold. I'm just going along with it. So nothing is shifting. I'm not going to get those bumps in the seam. Everything's going to look nice and neat and clean. So that's what I like. And I do the same technique for a lot of things that I make. But before I get to that last seam, I will grab my snips and go ahead and cut off my threads, beginning threads, so they don't get in my way when I'm sewing my last stitches. But here we go, this last line. And back stitching again. I back stitch real good, so there's no chance anything's going to come apart. And there we go. Little static cling going on. Really, really neat. And see how well they sew together? Going along that fold is the way to go. You just line it up that way, and it's night and day difference. I'm going to take my crimpers, and we are going to crimp these edges. So I'm getting as close as I can without cutting into those stitches. You really have to keep an eye on them with the crimpers, but they are a game changer. Everything looks nice and neat. I like to be very particular about myself. Like if somebody has to repair it or somebody has to turn it inside out, people can wash these. And if they see the raw edges, I want them to see something really professional. So I'm a little particular even how, things look on the inside. So, and I think customers appreciate that you took that much of detail into making something for them. But it's just so neat. You could actually almost just leave it like that if you wanted to. But I don't want the seam lines to show. My seams to show. So I'm going to wipe off my mess here. And we are going to turn this thing inside out. And you just slide your finger down underneath those corners and just bring everything out. And that's pretty much it. We're going to keep working through all these corners there. And then we're going to go iron it. And that's pretty much it. Really, really fast project. Maybe a project you can do with your kids. I love this pattern. I wish I knew who the person I followed on YouTube that was making these, but I can't remember. But they are my favorite coasters. They are my go-to. Sometimes I'll do just 2 different shapes and flip them inside out, but these are usually my go-to. They're just so versatile, and they have multiple uses, so to me they are worth it. And just poke out the edges as good as you can without breaking those seams. You can press too much, and you're going to see. And see, I used a 2.5, as you can see. Got a real nice seam, and that's what you want. A really tight one, so. But here we are, and all we're going to do is iron. But I just take those fingers there, and I just really wet them down with my saliva. And it helps roll that seam back, as you can see that I'm doing right there. But it really lines it up real nice. Forget who I saw that trick. I think it was Jordan Fabrics. I think that's where I got that. I think she does hers a different way. It's amazing how you pick up all these little tidbits from other creators. But yeah, it lines up. And don't worry if it looks like it may be a little off. As soon as you get done ironing, everything's gonna look fine. So, but yeah, that's it. And we are done. Pretty much done. But these are neat. They're so cute. I You can use different colors. You can use different patterns. You can just do whatever you want. Go through your scraps. They're just so neat. And these are washable. People can fit their glass bases down in there. And so I've got a set of 4 there to sell as a set. But I like to have a hard backing. But these are really, really neat. Really neat. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I thought I'd share my little go-to coast